This presentation is going to give you useful information about the leader-leader approach to management. This is pertinent to young and old managers alike. This approach focuses on employee empowerment. Captain David Marquet served in the U.S. Navy and on the USS Santa Fe, where he experimented with this approach and left your standard top-down, leader-follower approach behind. In his book, he chronicles his failures and successes as a leader and shares how valuable the leader-leader approach is. Though this approach towards employee empowerment has been steadily gaining traction the past several years, it is my hope that this presentation will help spread its success faster. My name is Alexandra Houchin. I hope you enjoy.
That's leadership. Here's my Naval Academy. Who all went to the Naval Academy? All right, good. So, Naval Academy leadership book. Here's what it said. Leadership can be defined as the art, science, or gift by which a person is enabled and privileged to direct the thoughts, plans, and actions of others in such a manner as to obtain and command their obedience, confidence, their respect, and loyal cooperation. I think this is totally inadequate. It's absolutely incomplete. This is about telling people what to do. That's not leadership, that's just telling people what to do. Leadership is embedding whatever genius you have, whatever insights you have, whatever ability you have to get stuff done in your people. That's your legacy. Your legacy is not your name. It's what your people achieve.
You describe that as being a leader-leader in kind of an environment where you describe how you empowered everybody from your XO down to the regular members of your crew. What would you say is the most important skill for a leader? You talked about courage being an important characteristic. What about skills?
Well, the reason I call it leader-leader is because we have leader-follower. What we have now is leader-follower. It's so ingrained we don't even consider it as an assumption. It's like, well, of course there's leaders and there's followers. We don't even question it. Mm-hmm. Okay, so leader-leader means we don't turn people into followers. This is what's funny for me. Okay, we create this environment where we turn people into followers. We tell them to do what they're told, follow their orders, and then we say, oh, but not like that, because what happens is we sap the energy, the passion, the proactivity out of them. We suck it out of them, and then we say, oh, but I want you to have more ownership. I want you to take more initiative. So, well, you just sucked it all out of me. Okay, so now we're going to have an empowerment program to compensate for the fact that I just sucked it all out of you. So look, the better way to do it is just never suck it out of people. Just let the natural proactivity of people come out to begin with. Mm-hmm. So, look, you have to be very thoughtful, and you have to be very patient, and you have to listen. Mm-hmm. So I'm not sure if there's any one thing.
There are three main components to the leader-leader approach: control, competence, and clarity. Through these categories, Captain Marquet addresses the difficulties involved in leadership. In his novel, he talks about the difficulty a manager faces when surrendering control to his or her subordinates, while still maintaining full responsibility for their actions. He says doing so can be nerve-wracking, but it is a necessary step. He encouraged his men to make their own decisions and gave them the knowledge and skills to be confident and competent in doing so. He was able to grow to trust their decisions and interests, which led them to a highly effective and efficient workforce. He addresses why the top-down approach to management is not the most successful.
Everything I knew about leadership was about telling people what to do. Everything I knew about leadership was about controlling people. Everything I knew about leadership was attracting followers. It's in the movies, right? And if what you want to do is the opposite, instead of taking control, I want to give control. Instead of attracting followers, I want to create leaders. All this is irrelevant or bad. And your instincts, everything that's good is bad, and everything that's bad is now good.
Captain Marquet put a great deal of focus on making his men active leaders. In this approach, it is necessary for your employees to know their purpose, because only with that will they become active and engaged leaders. Marquet stresses the importance of what he calls thinking out loud, a concept that encourages openness and trust among management and lower-level employees. By allowing your people to be open and honest with you, and vice versa, you are able as a team unit to address your concerns and thoughts and overall be more informed. This is a concept that I experienced firsthand at a job I once had. Management was open with my peers and I, and were willing and eager to hear our concerns and suggestions. This led to an atmosphere of understanding and trust where I knew I wouldn't be judged, even if an idea was out of the box or slightly unpractical. Marquet stresses over and over the importance of giving control up to your employees, which I'll admit does seem a little out of the ordinary and counterintuitive, but trust me, it seems like he knows what he's doing. Give your people this control to make their own decisions and mistakes, but remember, we must also hold them to be responsible and accountable for their actions.
We train people to do what we're told, what they're told. Remember the picture. We train people for compliance. The better you are at doing what you're told, the better scores you're going to get in school, and the faster you're going to get promoted at work. And then we say, asterisk, fairy dusting, wishful thinking, but we really want you to think and let us know what you think. And if you don't agree with the decision, please let us know. Okay, so I'm in a big meeting, and the boss and the whole group is, we know we're going to move in a certain direction. We're going to bring on a new product or buy a company or sell a company or fire someone. And then the boss says, right at the end, anyone have any issues with this? Oh yeah, I'm the idiot who's going to raise my hand. Not a team player, that guy. I'm like, oh, 3 months later, it's a disaster. Well, you were all here when we decided this, right? It's disingenuous, it's lies. So I realized at that moment that everything I knew about leadership, this 18 years of study, was wrong. Because that was about getting people to do what they're told. And what we needed on the Santa Fe was for people to think. And I think it's a seesaw now. The more you tell people what to do, the less they think. And to get people to think, you got to stop telling them what to do.
Competence is one of the pillars of Captain Marquet's model. Deliberate action means doing things deliberately and for reason. This means being aware of our actions and knowing why we take them. This means that when I'm working in the pharmacy as a technician, I have every customer who comes through my drive-thru sign a receipt that's required by insurance. And I do it correctly so that I won't later face the consequences of having not done my job properly. Taking this deliberate action helps to reduce the errors of your workforce. As leaders and leaders of leaders, we have to be open and willing to learn. As we are given more control, we are also given more responsibility to make decisions which usually require more knowledge. The result of increased competence is the ability to delegate increased decision-making to employees, which leads to greater engagement and initiative. Repeat the message means making sure your employees have the company's ideas and goals ingrained into their minds and subsequently into their decisions. Goal setting is especially important in not only life, but also in management. Employees need to have something to work towards and look forward to as a source of motivation to do their jobs properly and efficiently. The leader-leader approach encourages employees as well as management to achieve greatness and to always aim higher. The clarity mechanism of Marquet's approach wants people to focus less on just avoiding errors and more on doing the job to a higher standard. Marquet, as well as management gurus around the world, stress the importance of building strong workplace relationships. It is key for management to build trust with their employees and take care of them, not only in the workplace but in their personal lives as well. Captain Marquet tells the story of many years ago when one of his men was due to become a new first-time father. Though the captain knew losing the soldier could hamper their efficiency, he still wrote asking for the man's leave. The man was able to get home in time for his baby's arrival. You can't put a price on what that means to someone. It's important for management to recognize and reward desired behaviors in order to encourage them. If the sales team meets their quotas for the year, perhaps they get a lunch party in return or maybe a monetary reward. This is key to growth within any business. Employees have to feel valued and rewarded. Captain Marquet couldn't stress enough the importance of asking questions. He was always asking his men to do so. He encouraged his men to do it whenever needed, whatever question came to mind. These questions and answers create an open line of communication that is indispensable. It helps everyone to stay on the same page and to work towards common goals. I would highly recommend this book to all managers and everyone who could be in a management position in the future. It opens your eyes to concepts you might have never thought of and offers perspectives that you don't always get. It allows you to not only see things through your own eyes as the boss, but also through your employees' eyes. The leader-leader approach deviates from the standard leader-follower concept, but David Marquet backs up his assertions as to why this model is so successful. The book gives legitimate and worthwhile advice and addresses common concerns in human resource management, such as employee empowerment, job readiness, and the need for healthy workplace relationships. Here you will find a list of directions and changes managers should take to implement this approach.
So the inspectors would come down. Now the list isn't required, just doing the things. So they would come on Santa Fe and say, show us your checklist, your to-do list. Say, I don't have any. How can you not have a checklist? Say, well, they just do their job. Well, we'll see about that. And you know what? They did their jobs better than any other submarine. And we had an inspection a year, not 10 years, but 1 year after I got on board the submarine. And the crew on the Santa Fe got the highest score that the inspection team had ever seen. Not that year, not that month, not in the Pacific, not in the Atlantic, ever seen anywhere. Why? Because In the old way, I had one person thinking, one leader, and 134 doers. On the Santa Fe, we had 135 active thinking, doing, passionate, creative people coming up with ideas. I don't care how smart you are, and I don't care how smart you are in business. If that's the way you're running things, you're going to get washed away like a tidal wave, because you can't be better than 135 people.